Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, where the world has once again looked at a gas can, a drone, a courtroom, and a federal agency, and said, what if we put all this mess in one blender and hit the button marked National Emergency? Today, we got wars wobbling like a shopping cart with one bad wheel, gas prices acting like they joined a country club, government workers getting fired like somebody mistook the federal payroll for a spam folder, and Russia holding a military parade so nervous it basically needed a permission slip from Ukraine. Folks, it is the kind of news day where you check your wallet, check the sky, check the stove, and then check whether Elon Musk has accidentally deleted the Department of Agriculture while looking for the Wi-Fi password. Segment 1. Hormuz hiccups and gas pump heartburn. The biggest mess right now is still the Middle East, where Operation Epic Fury has gone from a big dramatic military thunderclap to a long, expensive maritime slap fight in the Strait of Hormuz. The US and Iran are technically hovering around a ceasefire, but it is the kind of ceasefire where everybody keeps their finger on the trigger and says, I am relaxing aggressively. US forces disabled Iranian tankers by hitting their smokestacks, which sounds less like diplomacy and more like a mechanic fixing your truck with a shotgun. Then Iran answered with drones, missiles, and fast boats, because apparently the Gulf of Oman has turned into Mad Max with oil futures. And here is the grounded part underneath all the smoke. That little waterway matters because a huge chunk of the world's oil normally squeezes through it like a fat raccoon trying to get through a dog door. When ships get nervous, insurance gets expensive, oil gets pricey, and then suddenly some fella in Indiana is paying $4.50 a gallon just to drive to work and complain about paying $4.50 a gallon. Washington says the military goals are basically met, and now they want a diplomatic deal. But Iran is taking its sweet time answering like a teenager, pretending not to hear you yell about the trash. So the whole world is stuck waiting on a letter, while gas pumps are acting like tiny casino machines that only pay out sadness. Segment 2. Jobs are up, spirits are down, and everybody is mad at the pump. Now somehow, while the world economy is catching sparks off the Strait of Hormuz, the April jobs report still came in better than expected. Employers added about 115,000 jobs. Unemployment stayed around 4.3%, and the headline looked healthy enough that economists could briefly smile before remembering food, gas, and rent still exist. Most of the gains came from healthcare, transportation, retail, and social assistance, which basically means America is hiring people to heal the sick, move the boxes, sell the boxes, and help everybody who got crushed by the price of the boxes. That is not an economy roaring like a monster truck. That is an economy limping into the dollar store with a coupon and a prayer. Consumer sentiment, meanwhile, has fallen through the floorboards and is now living somewhere under the crawl space with the raccoons and old Christmas lights. People may still have jobs, but they are looking at gasoline, groceries, tariffs, and interest rates like they have been personally invited to a financial cage match. The Federal Reserve is stuck in a corner because cutting rates while energy inflation is hot is like opening the windows during a house fire because you want more airflow. Raising rates could make the economy cough up a lung, but holding steady just leaves everybody standing there, broke, confused, and one unexpected car repair away from selling plasma next to a guy named Dale. Segment 3. Doge ate the homework and half the government too. While regular people are trying to stretch a paycheck like it is pizza dough at a church fundraiser, the federal government is getting carved up by the Department of Government Efficiency, which is called Doge, because apparently even the collapse of bureaucracy needed meme branding. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers and contractors have been fired, pushed out, or reclassified in the name of cutting waste. And that sounds simple until you realize some of those people were the ones making sure medicine gets reviewed, food gets inspected, forests do not turn into flaming salad, and Social Security paperwork does not age like cheese in a basement. Cutting waste is one thing, but firing the people who know which pipe shuts off the flood is how you end up saving money while standing knee-deep in water. Elon Musk has reportedly called the effort only somewhat successful, which is a wild thing to say after you have helped turn the federal workforce into a clearance rack at a going-out-of-business sale. The administration claims big savings, but critics say the hidden costs are stacking up in lawsuits, backlogs, lost services, and private sector jobs that depended on federal contracts. That is the thing about government work. It may look slow and boring until it disappears, and then suddenly everybody notices the boring people were holding the roof on. It is like selling the tractor to save money, then acting shocked when the field does not plow itself because the spreadsheet said dirt should be more efficient. Segment 4. Russia throws a victory parade with stage fright. Over in Eastern Europe, the U.S. helped broker a 3-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, including a huge prisoner swap of 1,000 people from each side. That is genuinely important, because behind all the maps and missiles are real human beings who have been trapped in a nightmare for years, and getting them home matters more than any leader's speech. But the way this ceasefire happened was not some soft, candlelit diplomacy with tea and tiny sandwiches. It came with threats of massive secondary tariffs against countries still buying Russian fossil fuels, which is basically America saying, "Everybody stop funding this war, or we are turning global trade into a bar fight." The timing landed right on Russia's Victory Day, which is usually when Vladimir Putin rolls tanks through Red Square like he is showing off lawn equipment at a dictator county fair. But this year, the parade was scaled back, short, light on heavy hardware, and wrapped in nervous security measures because Ukrainian drones have shown they can reach deep into Russia. Moscow even had to black out mobile internet and tighten access, which makes your big, strong military parade feel a little less intimidating when it requires airplane mode. Ukraine, meanwhile, basically mocked them by acting like it was politely allowing the parade to happen, which is such a psychological wedgie that even the Kremlin's brass buttons probably puckered. Segment 5. America steps back from Europe and hands them the check. Underneath that ceasefire is a bigger shift. America is stepping back from being Europe's automatic security blanket. The administration has made it plain that Ukraine's long-term defense should be more of a European problem, and it has talked about stopping direct weapons support while pushing allies to carry more of the load. The U.S. is also pulling thousands of troops from Germany, and European leaders are looking at that like somebody just left them with the dinner bill after ordering 3 appetizers and a war. It is a major change, because for decades Europe's defense plan was basically be diplomatic, buy nice trains, and assume Uncle Sam is sleeping on the couch with a missile launcher. Now Europe has to ramp up its own defense industry, while also dealing with inflation coming from energy shocks and global trade tension. That means governments over there may have to spend more on weapons, while their citizens are already tired of high prices, tight budgets, and politicians explaining sacrifice from rooms with gold trim. It is like telling a family they need to buy a new roof, a storm shelter, and a bear fence, right after the grocery bill doubled and the washing machine started making demon noises. The grounded reality is that alliances are being rewritten fast, and when the old security system gets yanked out before the new one is bolted down, everybody starts sleeping a little lighter. Segment 6. Citizenship, gerrymanders, UFO files, and the chaos side salad. Back home, The political machine is not exactly calming anybody down. The government is moving to strip citizenship from 12 immigrants, a power that used to be treated like a rare emergency tool, not something you pull out of the shed every time the politics gets spicy. Civil rights groups are sounding alarms because once the state starts widening who can be denaturalized, people start asking whether citizenship is a foundation or just a subscription plan with scary fine print. That is heavy stuff, and it lands right alongside redistricting fights in places like Tennessee, where a majority black Democratic district is being carved up like a gas station pie under a heat lamp. And because America refuses to serve one crisis at a time, we also got side dishes. Narco boat strikes in the Pacific, a cruise ship health scare, new UFO files, White House lockdown chatter, courtroom drama, AI clones, and local police still out there writing speeding tickets like the apocalypse better be doing 55 in a 45. That is the weird duality of this country. One hand is reshaping global security. The other hand is reminding you your tags expired in March. We are bombing boats, arguing over citizenship, watching gas prices chew through paychecks, and still finding time for college lacrosse and distracted driving campaigns. It is like a tornado hit the county fair, but the funnel cake stand stayed open and charged extra because supply chains are uncertain. In conclusion, today's news feels like the whole world is trying to parallel park a dump truck during a thunderstorm. The Middle East is keeping energy markets terrified. Eastern Europe is getting a ceasefire built out of tariffs and threats. The American government is firing itself in the name of efficiency, and regular people are just trying to buy gas without needing a financial advisor. The strange part is not that any one crisis is happening. It is that all of them are happening at once, stacked like bad pancakes at a motel breakfast. So keep your tank half full, your paperwork in order, your phone off airplane mode unless you are near a Russian parade. And remember, when the experts say the system is under pressure, what they mean is the duct tape is sweating.